Yeah, I think,
So
and it's also something that my body is asking me to a lot too. So like it's kind of
yeah,
nice to have like so much people like yourself and Brenda and like helping on building the community already.
yeah,
And I'm really allowing myself to kind of take a literally a back back seat kind of thing.
yeah.
Which has been really fruitful in terms of allowing to do the stuff that really is allowing it to grow in an even more meaningful way. So I'm rekindling a lot of like deeper relationships for uh a lot of the different events that are happening around the world.
Right.
And It's interesting how so many different thought leaders and creators from relationships that I built, like I'm starting to build even more of that connection. So yeah, maybe it's something that the universe is asking me to kind of just rest a little bit more and allow the grace to come through even more.
I think that's very good because when we learn to listen, right? And I think there is like two things. Like I want to do this. This is a series of events every day and every Sunday and all that. And then also listen to, yeah, maybe it's not necessary on a Sunday. Many people also relax and they maybe sleep a little longer, and then yeah, why not? Why not just say, hey, look, let's skip that. That's totally fine, I guess. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
We all learn on the way, right? What works and what is not necessary, and then we can skip the unnecessary.
Mhm.
Totally fine.
It's good to
Well, in
see you
the
both.
universe,
Oh,
Oh, Brenda is here.
yeah, yeah. Was you just cutting up, Brenda, a little bit? I want to hear your wisdom, what you're about to share, because you're about to share something really good. I can hear it. Oh, we lost her.
She had a bad connection. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Okay,
yeah, it
no
was
problem.
like it's been really good, dude. Like a lot of things in the background. Oh,
sorry,
there we
I
go.
bad connection.
You were
Can you
about
hear
to
me
share.
now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can hear you really good now. Before it was choppy.
Yeah.
Almost good.
What I was gonna say is, sorry, I'm just gonna do my exercises at the same time.
Yeah,
Um,
please.
they're very, minor. The the universe will just bring us these messages, right? We just need to listen. And you kind of said it right at the beginning, maybe Sunday is just a day that I take off, or we all take off,
Yeah.
right? And the universe is just kind of bringing that message to you, to us, right? Because there's
It really
plenty of
is.
other days, right? There's plenty of other days that you can hop on.
Yeah.
So that's just my
And it
take on.
Yeah, and it's really beautiful to be able to listen and hear how easily there's a lot of other things behind the scenes that are happening, and accepting that ease and grace is also
Hmm.
something I'm learning to appreciate even more.
Yeah, I gotta move this.
It's
Moving
good
it
to
up.
see you.
I just
Um,
wanted to what comes to my mind is like taking Sundays off is something that generations before us have experienced as well. Because um, you know, no matter what religion people follow, but there is in any religion there is something like the Sunday, which is the day off, right? And and I guess the people generations before us, they have listened to the universe and they have figured out that Sunday is off, and
Yeah.
now it's up to us to experience that. So here we are.
I like that. I like that. That's great. Yeah. But hey, I'm glad to be on the call today.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's good to see you. And how are you feeling, Brenda, with regards to
Yeah. It's been up and down, definitely. Um, yeah, it's just, it's just something you have to go through. I'm just kind of going through the experience. I do a lot lying down on my bed. I do. It's just I get faint, and then I gotta lie down, and then I have to go to the bathroom. I've got constipation. Then it's one of those things you just experience, you know. And it's funny because I'm like my sleep is totally disrupted because I have to take meds just every couple hours. So my alarm goes off, is constantly going off, but I'm just going with it instead of just fighting it. Oh, I gotta wake up. I just like, okay, whatever. And then I'm getting 8 hours of sleep, 1 hour at a time, basically, right? So it's fine. And because I don't have to do anything, right? I don't have to go, I've got, Candy here doing the necessary things. I don't have to, I can just be. I can be here in my room. I can be here in my
which is
room.
really cute, by the way. Yeah.
I can just be. So, I do find it a very interesting experience. It's different than the first one.
Mm.
Um, just because I feel like I'm in a different headspace. Um, and what I would say is ease and flow,
Mm.
right? That's kind of how I feel, even though there's sometimes I do not feel the flow. I'm like, oh my God, that knee hurts.
Mom wants your drink water.
I am sending it to her.
She's sending it to you.
Yeah. Yeah, sending it right now. Hey, 1 sec, guys.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
With, what is it? Soy milk.
And JJ, you've been doing well. Things are going okay for you?
Yeah, she sent it. Hey, thank you. Bye.
Sorry, me.
Yes, things are doing well. Things are going well. I'm still in the flow. I am working on different things. I still meet people. I just come back I'm in the car driving, and I was visiting a friend of mine, which is half an hour away from my home. And we had a very good conversation. He's quite a bit younger than I am, which is very interesting to have a conversation with someone who is a different generation, but we understand each other quite well. And that was a wonderful afternoon for me now. And I have so many things to do right now. I have so many ideas still that I'm working on. And yeah, things are good. Things are very positive. One thing that came up is that I have applied for at a school a school who integrates people into the community, society, and into the workforce. I applied as a part-time teacher there, and they were very interested in. And I will be going, I guess, next Friday. I will do like a test class, or participate in a test class, so they can see how I do it and all that. And maybe that's something, down the road that I can do, that I can be a teacher for people who need that. That would be language, it could be math, it could be something like economy or IT. They have different courses where they need teachers. So that's something I'm very excited about. All these things, I have no clue, like half a year ago, that I could be going this way. And it's amazing. Things fall into their place right now. I'm still on a very amazing journey. Yeah. Cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I can hear it in your energy. You've
Yeah,
got
yeah.
this beautiful, beautiful energy, which is so nice. It's just like you're beaming. It's kind of like if I could see auras, yours would be really bright.
So cool.
Yeah, yeah,
And I love this. I love this. I mean, I'm repeating myself every time I'm in the call, but it's so, for me, still is so unbelievable, this journey, being away from the corporate world, following my heart, do whatever I want.
yeah,
Of course, I have to watch now the cash flow. I need some cash flow, and that's just what it is, right? We have to live
yeah.
somehow. But then things
Work
just go
out.
their way, and I am very open for many things, and the journey is just so amazing. To be honest,
Yeah,
it's so amazing. I'm on a wonderful journey, I must admit. Very wonderful journey.
that's
And you're
beautiful.
all part of this. You're all part of this. That's the greatest thing.
Oh, I love
You're all,
it. It's so uplifting just hearing you. It's just kind of like making my day.
oh, good. I'm so
Yeah, like
happy. So
really,
happy.
really. It's just when someone can speak like that and speak from their heart, how,
Yeah,
they're loving their life, they're loving it's interesting. I was listening to an energy healer,
yeah,
just like a video. And she said, when you get up in the morning, the first thing you should do before you do anything is now I gotta see where it was. It's basically um I don't want to butcher it, but basically it's basically you say to yourself, this is the best day of my life. You
yes,
start the day by saying, this is the best day of my life. Even when somebody
yes,
asks me how I am,
yeah,
I want to
yeah,
incorporate that. This is the
yeah,
best day of my life.
yeah.
And
Wonderful.
I just love that because it's like, when people ask how you are, you say, oh yeah, I'm okay. But, what does that say? This is nothing, right? Or they say the same thing. But if you
Yeah.
lead with, hey, and then they're like, really? Why? Because,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
what I was saying before, just about going through this knee surgery, um,
Yeah.
I see it. It's just another event in life. It's just another. It's neither good nor bad. It's just here's an opportunity, right? It actually, I see it as an opportunity. It's an opportunity for me to rest, to relax. I can't be running out the door, driving somewhere, right? I
Yeah.
can't sit at my computer. I can't sit like it physically is too hard. I get faint. So I just and I've created an environment that is beautiful and soothing and relaxing, and then I can look at this experience not as something, oh, what a drag, what a pain. It's more that, hey, this is an opportunity for me to read more, to listen to inspiring people, to
Yeah.
get creative. Um, and so it's more like an opportunity than anything.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Can you hear me? Let me see.
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know.
Okay.
Am I cutting in and out?
No, no. I am. I'm in the car, and my connection might be a little bit shaky. So,
Yeah.
but Brenda, what I have just heard from you is that it makes you feel good when you listen to me. That is a completely new experience also for me. And you know what? I have the same kind of, or probably a very similar feeling when I talk about it, when I talk about my flow, when I talk about what's going on, when I'm talking about what I'm doing and all that. That also resonates back to me, and it makes me feel good. That's just now something that I learn when
Yeah.
I this is unbelievable, right? Because
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
also, I had some days like 2 days ago, I was a little bit down and all that. And now when I talk about what I'm doing and in the flow I am and the people I meet, that resonates back and makes me even more happy. That's
Yeah.
something I learn. Yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful.
I know. I mean, it's great. It really is. Yeah. And that's why
So
it's
This is
oh, sorry, Eric. You go ahead.
no, I was just gonna share that this is like the essence of the Socratic method is to really pay attention and listen to others. And I really love how it's really being integrated so much more every single time in our experience here. In fact, one of my dear friends who is like an amazing powerhouse woman from Ibiza, she is holding on Tuesday a Socratic group this Tuesday at 11 o'clock. Her name's Chennai. She's an amazing like lady that I've gotten the pleasure of interviewing. And she is doing it this Tuesday from 11 to 12:30. So
Oh,
I will
11 to
send
12. Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Send me
I will
Tuesday.
send the links to the group and I'll send them to you both personally,
Mm,
so that you guys can block it into your calendar because
mm,
very, very, she's a heart. Like she's creating an event called Heart Masters Ibiza at
mhm.
the end of May, which I'm really inspired to serve and support her. She just sent me the details, which also by that um, at that time, they're also doing the Ray of Light Awards, which our dear friend Ray, who he played in like Star Wars and a lot of different films, his passing since last year. It's a what's it called? Anniversary. So they're doing these
Oh,
awards now on his behalf,
okay.
which
Oh,
really amazing. And he was a very inspiring man as well. But it's cool because the whole community now in Ibiza is really strengthening. In fact, like even I just connected our dear friend Zoran. He's going to be in Dubai with the head of sustainability for Sheikh Mohammed, and there's just so many things that are interconnecting now with so much ease and grace. Like I said. So I'm excited. I hope you can both make it on Tuesday to meet her.
I'm going to
And
try, definitely.
yeah, she
I
just
was
brings a lot of.
craving a chai latte and I just am so happy. Sorry. I had to get
No, it's
someone to.
good.
This morning I woke. It's so funny, Eric. Sorry, just to digress. I was meditating this morning, and in my meditation, the freaking chai latte came up. I could see, I'm like, why is that coming up in my meditation? It was like weird. And then I was laughing. I was kind of laughing at the same time. I thought, this is how the monkey brain works sometimes. Anyway, sorry to get off track here.
I love it. It's good. It's good. We gotta have joy in every moment. That's the whole important part.
I know. Oh my God, it's so good.
But yeah, I'll
Mhm.
send you
wonderful.
both the links.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
good.
sounds amazing.
Thank you so
I love that.
much. Sounds amazing. Sounds really
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Great.
that's
Hey,
awesome.
hey guys, I will drive through a area with no connection in two
Oh,
minutes, so I might lose. I'm not sure how stable it will be. I might
okay,
be kicked out. Just so you know it.
sounds good.
And Brenda, how's the family doing? How are the daughters and the I
Oh,
see
they're
that
doing
they really set
great.
up the space really
Lily had her
beautifully.
birthday. Lily had
Sorry?
her birthday yesterday.
Nice. Happy birthday,
Li-
Lily.
yeah, Lily had her birthday. Um, yeah, no, they're doing great. Lily's working at the Brew and Bloom, so she's trying to save money for her Europe trip. Lucy is in the middle of midterms. You know what she said yesterday? She had the worst midterm ever. The other day, she said it was so hard. It was just like I'm sure she failed, but a lot of people in the class, I think it was hard for them too. But yeah, this is, and what was, I can't even remember she's in computer science. So, yeah, some of these are they can be difficult depending on your, where your strengths are. Anyway, but she was okay. She didn't, crumble. It's like, well, yeah, it was the hard. Sometimes there's got to be the hardest one. You probably learn a lot from it, right? And I think there was just 6 questions, but each question had one page that you'd have to, the directions or whatever. It was like a page, and this was like a 50-minute exam. That's her life.
Yeah, those I remember those big equations in different courses.
Yeah.
Needing to go through an extensive kind of brief just before you can even actually answer it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's good. It's amazing. I mean, these tests, they're really
Test.
just like you said, opportunities to learn.
Opportunities, yeah. Yeah, when you look at it like an opportunity, it just changes everything about it, right? Like as soon as
Yeah.
I saw getting this operation, blah, 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 as an opportunity, it just like, okay, then it changes. You're not obsessing about the pain. You're not obsessing that you can't drive. You're not obsessing that, you can't go to the bathroom or you can't sleep or you can't, whatever you can't do or feel you can't do. Then you just go with it. Then, yeah, if I have to wake up to an alarm every 2, whatever. And you know what I tend to do? I just will listen to something like a podcast or something, a spiritual, and then it's almost like it's just running the whole night. Like even though it's more subliminal because I'll kind of fall asleep to it, and then my alarm goes off, and then I wake up, take my pill, go back to sleep. I'm still hearing it. It's yeah. Or sometimes it could be a meditation, it could be, a sound bath. Any of that kind of stuff is it's just an anchor to, remembering, what's important here, right? Going back to the heart and staying out of the head. And it's funny how music does that, right? Music?
Music for me is
No.
the biggest thing. It's
Yeah.
so intense, especially when there's no words in it. And so,
Mm-hmm.
like, I listened to, for example, the other day, and he's been on my podcast, Estas Tones. He
Mm-hmm.
is an amazing guitarist, world famous,
Yeah.
and he's a dear friend. We were talking the
Mm-hmm.
other day, like, about our future events together, and what he was
Mm-hmm.
sharing was, Eric, like, the music that I play, it comes through me. And he's always been like, when we actually, speaking of Ibiza, we actually had a beautiful conversation on the podcast about just the depth of awareness and why music really
Yeah.
brings our nature. And then at the end of the
Yeah.
podcast, he played a song, and it was always guitar, violin, and drums that really spoke to me. And it's been like
Mm.
this new way of communicating, and it's so amazing every time I listen to his music. And he's actually he does all the podcasts have him as the he's got the background music behind it.
Yeah.
I use his music, and it's always been something extremely meaningful because it's such a high frequency where it comes from. And I know him personally, his heart, right? So it's even more meaningful for me, right?
Yeah,
So
even more. Yeah. Oh,
it's
that's
it's
cool.
it's incredible.
Yeah, exactly. Hmm. And is he going to be in Brazil?
He can't make it to Brazil.
Oh, he can't.
He's really super booked up for the next little while. However,
Yeah.
him and I are thinking of the next, like the when we do a bigger event, because he will attract a lot of people. So we want to
Okay.
really do it on a space where it's on a bigger paradigm or a bigger shift
Mhm.
or a bigger event.
Right.
Just by him
Where
being
does he
present.
where does he typically play?
He's been all over the world. So
He's
I
just
met
like a
him.
solo artist?
He's been a solo artist, yeah,
Okay.
for
Yeah.
and he's probably in his 60s now.
Okay.
And he actually he's been traveling for like decades, and
Huh.
the last, I would say, 10 years, he's really become like supernatural, meaning his wisdom has really started to come through and people started to really listen to him. Um, and it was amazing when I got to meet him because it was just natural. Like we really resonated just like from a heart deep sense.
Yeah.
And we just were like the biggest kids. Of course, he's like 3 decades older than me or 2 decades older than me, but like he was just like, you are my like big brother, Eric. Like it was just like so funny. And
That's so
uh
cool.
we just were super playful and always discovering parts of each other. And he was, oh, every time he did a concert, they would let me in early. He would let me sit in the front,
Mhm.
before everybody was there. He would allow me
Mhm.
to just like be present. We would have a good conversation. Like it just, and this is a really like mega star, like a good,
Wow.
and just a good person that we just deeply connected. And so him and I really, I'll send you the podcast. Just a really
Okay.
great man, and
Oh,
like the
yeah.
depth of wisdom that he also brings in that conversation. I was still very much discovering myself in that conversation, and he was really a great teacher for me to be even more curious about who I was, why I was here. Because I when I met him, I was still very much uncertain. I was just loving being playful. I was just very
Yeah.
innocent.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's
Mhm.
cool to have these types of models and so many other musicians that have been on the path before me. They really just, yeah, they just really knew I like they were guides. They were guides.
And did you meet him in Ibiza?
I met him in Tulum.
Oh, in Tulum.
Yeah, I met him in Tulum, and then after that, when I lived in Ibiza, that's when he came there, and he played a lot of music, and then we did more stuff, and it was cool. It was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And so many other musicians too, right? Like even when I just love music. Music to
Yeah, I know.
me,
Yeah, 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 yeah. You're, and you can tell because when the music's on, you're there, you're feeling it. You don't
yeah.
hold back.
No, no.
And I really loved the music that Sagitas was playing upstairs, right? Creating that really nice environment with the music choice, right?
Mm.
I love that.
The peace, the serenity, the ability to also come into ourselves. Like it's so healing because it gives our inner body, our inner space, our inner beauty, our inner wisdom so much more, at least for me, my nervous system.
Yeah.
It gives me a
No.
lot like just appreciation of the moment, these
Mm-hmm.
types of nuances.
Yeah, totally.
And one thing, so Jenny Lee reached out to me the other day.
She did.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
reached out to you. Oh,
yeah.
that's so funny. Because I asked her if she knew you.
Uh,
And she
yeah, she
reached
reached
out
out.
to you. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
she
so
reached
cool. I really
out.
liked her.
Yeah.
I
So we're
actually
gonna
might
go.
take, I want to take she teaches a breath work course that I want to take
Nice.
because part of that, her workshop was breath work. And I'm like, okay, this is different breath work than I know. And so I'm just fascinated by that. Oh, so yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah, we're gonna
I
go
think
meet for tea the other. We're gonna go meet
I
for
think
tea on Wednesday.
she's a good person to be part of, like she's on the path for sure. She's doing a lot of her and Zaina, who does the yoga. Well, I don't know exactly what they do. I've only met them once. I'm not the expert. But I just liked their energy. I liked that experience. It was like 5 hours of getting away from the outside world. They just made it such a beautiful experience. Yeah. And so, of course, then I'm like, okay, I need more. So, and she also does breath work sessions, like one-on-one sessions. And I think they're doing their own workshop in BC in August. What else do they do? I think they have they do they have another 6 hour. It seems to kind of change all the time. Anyway, I love the energy of her and Zena. I loved kind of what they were doing.
Yeah,
There's Lily.
Hey Lily, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
How are you feeling?
I'm good. How are you?
She's good.
Amazing.
She's always good. Couple of zits.
Yeah.
Why do you always get zits?
Well, I don't know. Because
Is your
It's good to see you.
puberty?
Yeah. Nice to see you too.
She's the vision of light. Vision of
I love the purple.
Oh, thank you.
and she's always smiling.
Okay,
Love that girl. Hi, babes. Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna go for tea on Wednesday to talk about life and see what's going on.
Yeah. Well, she'd be totally on your wavelength. The two of you, I'm sure, would vibe together.
Yeah, no,
Anyway.
we did before my journey. So
Yeah, she said she knew you, but that was like 5 years ago or something.
yeah, she knew me
You're a
long time.
different guy. You're a different guy.
Yeah, she knew me way
Mm.
before then, and when I was still discovering deep parts of myself, and I had no idea what I was doing.
And what was she doing at that time when you knew her? Was she doing this kind of work back then?
No, she was she was still discovering herself as well.
Yeah.
However, she was already still already part of the journey. I could see it because a lot of incense, and she was around a lot of like these products that were very connected to a different realm, like crystals and things like this that were very meaningful to her. You could see she was already a healer, medicine woman. So
Yeah.
these are like, it's interesting. And one thing that I discovered and I shared it with her too. I went to the Temazcal ceremony on the planetary alignment on Friday. And that ceremony helped me discover how much I've done the work within myself, because what I've learned is a lot of these elders of the past, the traditional, they still hold a lot of their own trauma, and they project that a lot into the space
Do
and the challenges. And it was beautiful because I could hear a lot of the wisdom, and I could also hear a lot of their own personal story. And then it was beautiful, even more beautiful, because a lot of that personal challenge within him, he was projecting a lot right at me. And it's like I was just being in my space of joy and happiness.
Where was this? Was this on Zoom?
No, it was Alberta Hospital. They had they have a
cool.
ceremonial grounds there.
Mm.
And the elders Stony and Cree, so they perceive things still from a very different paradigm, because they haven't experienced so much nuances from different cultures and some of the similarities.
Yeah.
So they were still projecting a lot of separation and limitation. And I learned in that moment about myself how I really am this new elder that is stopping this separation. I'm stopping this choice of
Mm-hmm.
words, of language, of discovery,
Yeah,
and it
that's
allowed
good.
me in that level of alignment, especially with the planets, to really take responsibility of not
Mhm.
utilizing any more of this language or this
Yeah.
disassociation. Because even though he may was projecting a lot of anger or shame or guilt onto me, I wasn't reacting. I was in a deep space of peace, and I was holding compassion.
Mm.
And for him and for the experience,
How
because
is he doing that? How is he projecting it onto you? Was this
yeah,
more? I'm
so
just
so it was
curious.
yeah, so he would say things like, "This guy's running the show," like things like that, like I'm here to run the show because of just my presence, or I was being kind, or things like this.
Mm.
And my sister would be asking a question, and he didn't answer, so I answered from my map of the world, and he said, "There you go. This guy's running the show." Like, so things like this,
Oh.
where it was very focused on an environment based off of control versus an environment based off of growth.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of perception of his own. And then he was talking a lot about his anger of like why his wife left him and things like this. And it's like, from my perspective, when we do the deep work, we know that his wife has never left him. She just passed into another world. She's in his heart, and she's always
Yeah.
present, right?
Right.
And
Totally.
the thing
Totally.
most elders from my map of the world should understand, especially if they're doing the deep work. And
Yeah.
so, yep.
Yeah.
And then when I put my hand on my heart at the end and I bowed, and he said to me, "This is not a church." I said, "This whole planet to me is the playground. This whole planet to me is the church." He said, "Well, you're Christian." And I said, "I'm not Christian. However, if I was, it shouldn't matter. We are not separating here. We are part of the spiritual
Yeah.
experience of consciousness.
Mm.
And it should never matter what somebody believes, as long as they're being good. It's their behaviors. And the fact that you're creating that separation here tells me that you are still not deep on the path. You
Yeah,
are still
that's
working a lot
wow.
of
You called him out. Good for you.
in
Good for
front of
you.
everybody, and with peace, with kindness, with
Yeah.
genuine.
Yeah. Because it's
And one of
true.
right,
Anybody that would say this is not a church, like if any, like think about that, just that statement. Well, like, what does that say about him? Like, every place is a church. Like, even I know that. Like, you can make any place a church. You want to make it a church? But it wasn't
and
even about that because just because you made some gesture,
I
yeah,
put
it's
my
fascinating. Fascinating,
so
hey?
right, because he talked a lot about the story of residential schools, things like
Yeah.
this. And so there's
Yeah.
still a lot of carried trauma. So all I
Mm-hmm.
could do is have compassion,
Mm-hmm.
because the residential schools and the trauma that him and his generation and maybe
Yeah.
his father or his grandfather were gone
Mm-hmm.
through,
Yeah.
right? And so that's a lot of intergenerational traditional trauma that still should not be uh projected onto the youth, because there's also a lot of like
I know. I
there's a lot of
know.
hard men in there. Like there was a lot of like really hard, strong, like Indian men,
Mm-hmm.
Native or First Nations men,
Yeah.
and they're very powerful in their presence and soft in their hearts. And so these guys, when they're listening to an elder, it's
Yeah.
very much important that they're listening to
Yeah.
healthiness, and
That's right.
they're not. So when I spoke up, none of them have like they don't have the deep inner awareness, right? Like I do.
Yeah.
So I spoke up, and at the end of it, when I was outside, they all gave me like shook my hand and gave me a hug and said, "Thank you for being here, man. Like I
Oh,
really respect you, for." And so
it's
what
almost, yeah. Yeah.
what I
Would you
realized
really?
I realized that I'm really a new elder. It really
Mm-hmm.
gave me that initiation. It really it was that new initiation from spirit. And this spirit, it allowed me to deeply connect deeply to myself and root myself so deeply into the ground,
Yeah.
right? And owning the value that I'm bringing to the world and owning the value that I'm really cultivating and how I'm serving, because these sacred experiences and these sacred ceremonies should be delivered with healthiness. Remember, I said the healthy meal,
God. Yeah.
and there's these sacred experiences are still being delivered with a lot
Yeah.
of, and so in that moment, it gave me the conviction to say, no, it's time to really stand tall as this new ancestor, as this new elder. Doesn't matter how old I am, because
Yep.
I've gone so deeply inside myself to really
Mm-hmm.
recognize what's true and what's not.
Well, you realize there is no separation, and they still see a separation, right? Oops. You froze. You froze. You froze.
All that energy.
Whoops. Oh, is that why it froze? All that energy. No, but it's true, right? It's and especially if someone is called an elder, you're looking up to them for guidance, right? And if they are still entrenched in some of these old stories, that's not going to be helpful for the youth that really need, some strong players, the ones that really are here. Anyway, did you freeze again?
I did, and I can
Yes,
hear
you
you.
did. Is this a message from the universe? I don't know if it's you or me.
It really is something special. It gave me it taught me a lot, that experience. And it was so beautiful because my older sister was with me, and
She could see it.
she,
Yeah.
she had the feeling of safety because she asked a lot of questions. She was sharing a lot, and she felt so safe to be able to totally express herself. And it didn't matter what people were projecting. I was there, and they weren't projecting onto her any of their stories, because I wasn't saying much. I was very quiet most of the time. However, people just felt it, and so she felt safe, and it was beautiful. She really was like, this was the best, because she was processing a lot of her own experiences, throughout the experience of life, where most of her life people told her that something was wrong with her, that she had bipolar, that she had this, that she had that. And
Yeah.
so this was also an invitation from her. She's like, Eric, can we go do this together? And it was just so
Oh, that's so
beautiful.
cool.
Yeah, the alignment, the planetary alignment,
Yeah.
the time, the healing, the experience. It was all
Yeah, you
such a
froze again.
joy.
Why is it freezing?
Yeah.
What is going on? Oh, you're back. You're
Thanks
back.
for listening. I really appreciate you.
I love that kind of stuff. It's important. It was so cool that she asked you to go,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
It's
it
beautiful.
was it was really, really special.
It was a very, powerful experience, another sort of learning, uh, right? You get to see yourself and to be even more confident in yourself, right? And really owning what's important to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, because you know how important this work is to me, and how sacred I really believe it is,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
So
It's the only.
yeah, it's really the only work. It's
And it's the only work.
yeah, yeah. Uh, I really honor you. Thank you for saying that. That means a lot to me, Brenda.
No, yeah. No, definitely. You know who you are. And, even just to stand up to someone that in that situation, that wouldn't necessarily be easy because he is perceived as an elder, but he's displaying things that you can see that are not in alignment. And these are the messages he's putting out to the young people, to the vulnerable people. That is not the message that they need. They do not need to be entrenched in the residential schools. Yes, of course, we recognize that was, that was horrible. But you know, it's we can't just dwell in it. It is okay. Now what? How can we empower the youth coming up to, you know, be the best versions of themselves within that framework? Because of course there's lots of generational trauma. Here's where sometimes like I feel like I'm talking through marbles. Yeah. Generational trauma. Yeah. It's all fascinating. I just love this whole, you know, just really digging deep into like who we all are and who we want to be. I mean, in the end, it's actually quite simple. Right? We just want to be connected to God. We're a spark of God, and reminding ourselves that that's who we are. We aren't the photographer, the real estate investor, that that's something we do, but that's not who we are. And when we can go back to who we really are, I mean, thinking about the elders, when they look at who they are, who is it that they see they are? Because if you're making a statement like, well, he's running the show, what kind of a statement is that other people can hear? Like you're the leader. And if you're making a statement, it's almost demeaning, right? It's really to put you in your place. I think, like, why would someone say that? Because their ego is, you know, obviously his ego is still, important to him, that he has to feel like you're running the show and not him or whoever. I don't know how many elders were there. I don't even know the situation. I can just see it though. I can imagine it because I think a lot of people operate like that. They profess to be an elder or, spiritual or whatever label they want to give themselves, but they're actually not living it themselves. And how can you, if you haven't healed yourself, how can you possibly go out there and heal other people? Right? That's kind of what it's like. They're put in this place of, I'm the elder. I know more, but they're still hurting inside. And maybe they will always hurt inside. I'm not in their shoes. I don't know, right? But in the end, like we're all connected. We are just as connected with them as we are to other people. Sometimes I remember when the elders were speaking with Gabe, like some of the stuff I was like kind of surprised that they're trying to serve him first and foremost, but I still felt there was a separation. Like they were projecting a separation between us and them. It's kind of us and them, which is how I felt from Gabe. Us and them, we Inuit, you white, right? and that's just maybe all part of the healing they have to go through, we have to go through.
This is beautiful what you're saying, because this is the indigenous spirit, right? So there is no separation. And that's what I really emphasized to the elder at the end. I said, hey, you know, what you're creating here is a lot of separation. And I encourage you to really pay attention that there is no separation. You know, the church is the playground of you know, this is all, the whole planet is a temple, is a church, you know, is a playground, whatever you want to call it, the name doesn't matter. And one of the things that, you know, I find because of this past historical trauma is that there, whether it's based off of the skin of our, like color of our skin, or, you know, some of these belief systems, instead of seeing the similarities, people are so focused on the differences. And the magic is actually in seeing the solution in the similarities and the wisdom that's coming through, because then as a result, we can really utilize each other's strengths. And that's what really is pattern recognition, recognizing the patterns of the past, utilizing the strengths of our abilities, and then creating from those new meaningful habits. And those three patterns are becoming the changes that we get to live on and cultivate a meaningful approach towards really unifying an intelligence that has always been within all of us, just now amplifying it in the physical experience, because it is in the physical presence that we actually choose to then really want to operate, right, from this third dimension that most people, whether if they're done the work or not, can actually learn to integrate. And so it's, for me, super important to have these meaningful discussions, whether they're challenging or I trigger people, it doesn't matter. It's not about me. I don't take it personally. And I didn't take it personally, which was really beautiful, which is why my sister was like, wow, this was amazing, because you took nothing personally. And she even asked me at the beginning, do you want to go? Like, you know, I just saw how he reacted to you. I was like, no, this is, and I told her, I told her, I don't take anything personally here. I'm not going to make it about me. I'm going to listen. I'm going to focus, you know, on the agreements of not making any assumptions, and really being impeccable with my word when I do speak.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful.
And I focused on that, and that's what gave me grace, because the stories that he was telling sometimes during prayer, when we were in there was a lot of wisdom as well that came through. So he also shared a lot about the eagle, and you know, and the golden eagle, and I was wearing golden shorts. It was so funny, and I have this big eagle tattoo. So like, there's so much synchronicities that were happening that spirit was communicating with me through him. So there was a lot of value that he also provided. And so fundamentally, it was like the gift was about understanding the deeper part, and then still recognizing what was mine and what is his. And then having that authenticity to understand that there's a projection here, and that it's not mine. And that that's just his what he has to do personally. And he's also speaking at times in terms of the higher spirit, which was really beautiful. So if it's okay, Brenda, I'd love to share a quick prayer for us before we go. Is that okay with you?
Love it.
Awesome. So let's breathe into our hearts. Close our eyes. Thank you, beloved Spirit, great teacher, for this infinite intelligence that runs through our hearts, our souls, our bodies. May we always remember that your infinite wealth comes to us in avalanches of our abundance. It flows to us with ease, with grace, because we are part of you. You are everything to us. And as a result, we get to serve alongside you, being able to give grace, cultivate even more meaningful experiences, and really identify at the highest level of principle that we get to serve in this physical experience, so that we are the examples of possibility versus the warnings, and let our life be led by this heart's intelligence, so that we can continue to manifest the most meaningful desire of our future generations in this time. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Love you.
I love you so much. Mwah!